FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's 8/12/19. Well, we're back from a quick family vacation off to Bermuda, a beautiful but very expensive island with really nice people, nice places, good food. But did I say very expensive? Hey, well, everything's going up in price. If you've been watching the latest rally in gold, right now we're up to $15.0540, up $9.20 the ounce. Silver up 12 cents the ounce to $17.04. Well, somebody who called this recent run up, you got to go check out his site, charlesnenner.com. That's Charles, Nenner.com. Charles, always great to have you on. So you've been calling for the gold bull market, the resumption for a couple of months now. I think we talked 2-3 months ago about this very topic, and you had a major buy signal. And sure enough, it's coming to pass.
Yeah, at that time, nobody actually looked at gold, and we said we have a price target of $2,500. So we already long for a couple of $100. There is, however, around tomorrow, August 13th, there is a short-term top. So we're taking some profit on the positions, and we expect to see weakness and expect to go long again in lower levels. If you're a very long-term investor, you don't have to care about this. But if you're a person who plays like for $50, $60 difference on gold, then it's worthwhile to take some profit and go in at a lower level.
Well, so it's had such a run-up. When we talked, it was like in the high 1200s, 1270, I want to say. So it's had over a $220, $225 run-up. And it did that like when nobody was watching. All of a sudden, it just shot up a couple of days. If you deduct all the winning days, the losing days, there was 4 or 5 winning days, which account for most of the increase. It's due for a pullback just on technical grounds, isn't it?
Well, that's more also on sentiment grounds. What I'm worried about is, and I did the same thing on the stock market before we had this down move, this weakness. I said, and I showed, anybody can see that if they go to my, if they ask for my research, which by the way, for a couple of weeks is for free. So in this difficult market, I would give it a chance. I said, look at my numbers. What I call the clever money is selling, and the not clever money is buying. And when we went long in gold, most of my institutional clients and banks were buying, and the small investor was not buying. And what worries me a little bit is now suddenly people who want to sign up, they ask if it can get only gold and Bitcoin forecast. But that worries me, because where were they when we're buying? And now everybody's so bullish, so it worries me a little bit, because most small investors are on the wrong side of the market. So it seems that people only want to do now gold. And what I try to explain to them is that try to go with the big guys and don't concentrate only on gold, because there are always different opportunities to make a lot of money.
Of course. And if it's any consolation, I was at the Sprott conference up in the Sprott Resource Investment Conference up in Vancouver a couple of weeks ago, and the companies themselves were way more bullish, I felt, than the individual investors. There weren't as many there as in some other previous years, but the interest was high. I will say that. But they don't seem to have, like the small people, gone head over heels. They've had so many head fakes, Charles, over the last 8 years, just believing that now gold is going up. And I'm guilty of this myself, quite frankly. They're just not convinced. I'm convinced because I see the technical indicators, the technical aspects, the fact that the dollar went up with gold going up, and the stock market went up, at least for a while. So that tells me when gold is moving in the same direction as those other key markers, this one's for real.
And the other thing is, I published that on Sunday. the Swiss franc gave a long-term buy signal, and usually that goes together because there's something going on here that people, under camouflage of the stories of China and Trump and whatever, they don't understand. The bond investors making a huge profit. We're long bonds already for a long time. I had a big thing already with bonds. People didn't want to believe in bonds, interest rates. Anyway, the big guys went long, and the small guys are behind because they listen to the media, and the media have no idea. So something is going on. The bonds are going up, flight to safety. The Swiss franc is going up, flight to safety. Gold is going up, flight to safety. The market was weak. And all we hear, well, it's just temporary because of something going on with China. It's something much more important going on systematically wrong in these financial markets. And the insiders are already taking their positions. And what usually happens that if people listen to the media, they're always the last one to understand it. So you say I'm guilty of it also. So if I can tell you one thing, I never listen to media and I never look at newspapers, and that keeps you much more neutral. Sometimes I look when the market goes down, I put on CNBC. The interesting thing is I haven't heard one person say that you should sell. It's always a buy opportunity. It's amazing.
Life is a buying opportunity, Charles, and no place is that greater than in the gold sector. But the other confirmation here is we started seeing silver going up. Silver broke $17 the ounce. It went down below last Friday. Now it's back above. So it looks like we have some confirmation in the silver market as well. There's a lot of other confirmations, a lot of other data that just makes you believe that this one's for real. But I can totally understand if you've been watching for the past 8 years why you would think this isn't for real, for sure. And like you said, there's something more profound than just a trade dispute between the U.S. and China. Now you've got China going into Hong Kong, apparently ready to do a military incursion there. And, they just finished building that lovely 34-mile bridge to connect Hong Kong to the mainland, which was kind of like an umbilical cord, if you will, and was really kind of a tip-off that something was up there. And now we're starting to understand what it was.
Well, the tip-off was about, I can remember, 7-8 years ago, because, I do these war cycles where I can predict when a war is coming, when a war is not coming. And I also said that the aerospace industry in China is going through the roof. So already 7-8 years there, we're preparing a lot of ammunition to get going in the world. So I agree with you. Things start to be edging, and we're still in the cycles that predict a major war coming. So who knows what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope it doesn't, obviously, because wars, nobody wins. There's no winners, no losers. Everybody's the loser, basically. And you have to wonder, the way things are heading here, it's pretty disturbing what's taking place.
Well, I don't say anything. I'm totally agreeing with you. So I have nothing to add.
Yeah. So, but obviously, there's other markets here. Do you think the stock market, in some perception, is seen to be, at least the U.S. stock market, a safe haven to some extent?
Well, I don't know. A safe haven is an emotional thing to say. In a couple of days, we have a short-term low. So we were short everything, and we were long the VIX. We took very nice profits, and soon we're going to buy some stocks that we like for one more run up. And I guess by the end of September, maybe we test the highs again if we can, and then it's going to be downhill again. It's roller coaster for people who have no clue what they're doing. Maybe some good news comes out, and that's why they buy the market again. Anyway, I don't know, but the cycle that brought the market down is stopping by the end of the week. And it's very possible that we are going to buy a little back by the end of the week.
Yeah. Well, I find it fascinating. And the oil cycle oil's kind of been dead in the water, hasn't it?
Well, the interesting thing is, my long-term downside target is $36. So this is interesting. How do we combine it with a crisis in the world? And first thing is, how come crude didn't go up in this whole mess, and even will go much lower because the longer term cycles are down into next year's, and my long term target again is $36. So it's a bit out of my field to understand how people can make interpretation of all that's going on. The other thing is very worrisome is that the CRB index is making new lows and the cycle continues down. And I still hope that we're going to have a deflationary crisis, which nobody understands because all I hear is how much the inflation. By the time people wake up for deflation, which is almost already going on in most of the world, it's too late to do something about it.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that this deflationary cycle will actually knock down the price of gold at some point? Or is gold...
No. That seems to be the understanding people have. Most bull markets in gold are in deflationary periods. Mm-hmm. And let me try to explain that. If there's deflation, then the stock market goes down. The bond market has a preemptive strike, it's going up. But when there's liquidity problems, like you saw in Greece and Portugal and over there, then interest rates go up in spite of deflation. And then in the end, the housing market will also go down. So people look at the stocks and say, oh, stocks are down, let me sell it. Mm-hmm. And let the bonds, well, let me sell it. And the real estate they have. So all that's left is gold. So they run into gold, even if it's deflationary crisis, not inflationary.
So just as the ultimate safe haven, that no matter what happens, gold is going to have some value. But my real estate, they might be foreclosing on it soon. And a lot of uncertainty leads people there. Do you think Bitcoin is going to play a bit of that role now?
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
For millennia, ancient pharaohs prospered from unparalleled riches made possible by Egypt's resource-rich gold deposits. But despite this rich history, modern Egypt remains one of the most underdeveloped gold mining countries in the world. But that's all about to change. Aton Resources is leading the charge on the Egyptian mining revival. As the only public exploration company in Egypt, Aton Resources has first-mover advantage. Focused on their 100% owned Abu Marawat concession, Aton Resources is advancing several exploration targets, including the recent discovery of the legendary Lost Mountain of Gold at Rod Ruin. Learn more about this exciting drill program and other news at atonresources.com. Aton trades on the TSXV under the ticker symbol AAN and on the OTC under the ticker ANLBF.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Well, again, I don't have an interpretation. I just do the Bitcoin. It's very easy to predict Bitcoin. I mean, it's the easiest thing seen on cycles and price targets that we have, probably because there are no fundamentals involved and it's all emotion.
Yeah.
So again, anybody who does Bitcoin, try to see how we do Bitcoin. We kind of pinpoint every move, short term or long term. And again, it's if you know how to calculate it, it's the easiest market to make money in.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What's the best way to play Bitcoin? Do you just buy the currency?
Yeah. No. There's a stock that we play with. It's called GBTC. I think maybe it's a fund that is in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And it follows the Bitcoin. And I even don't know myself how to play Bitcoin, but I play through GBTC. The stock we mention it always in our research, when to buy it and when to sell it, and then you follow for 100% the Bitcoin price.
Mm-hmm. And it's a one-to-one relationship there. So I think they call it the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So
now I know. I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who to trust here, but if it's a trust, I guess they've got. You know what's really funny? I'm looking at an article here, and it says they're Bitcoin Investment Trust. So it's an investment trust, like a REIT. Records a total cumulative return of over 2,000%. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Well, maybe one time when the Bitcoin was 1,000 and they had the trust already. Let me see when they started. Then maybe, but that's not something that because I don't think they go short. They're only long.
Yeah.
Let me see how long they exist. So if they were there in the beginning, they started out to be at 30 cents.
Wow.
And they went up as high as almost $40.
Yeah, I see that. And yeah, so just take a look and just Google G like George, B like boy, T like Thomas, C like coin, and you'll see the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And right now it's trading right around 1450.
Yeah. So the easy thing is I don't have to discuss with anybody fundamentals because there are no fundamentals. So that makes it very simple.
So if we look at gold's fundamental case for the past 8 years, more and more currency units, less and less political stability, threat of global economic meltdown. It's been totally positive. But when we look at your research and those others who are into the cycles, we see that the technical case for gold and silver along with that have really not been strong until recently.
Well, also that I cannot add much. You're totally correct.
Well, I just find it fascinating that technicals can diverge 180 degrees from fundamentals, but until the technicals turn around, the fundamentals almost don't matter.
I don't think the fundamentals matter because I don't know anybody really knows the truth. Let's say the stock market is supposed to trade based on next year's news, earnings, interest rates, inflation.
Mm-hmm.
And even the Fed says, well, we go from month to month to see if we'll have to do with rates. So if you don't know what the unemployment, inflation, the dollar, etc., is doing next year, how can you invest? So I don't think most people don't have those programs that we have. So I don't think they even invest on fundamentals. So then they throw fundamentals away because I've been a lot writing about the Buffett indicator. And maybe you remember the Buffett indicator takes the total capitalization of the market divided by GDP. And it's extremely, extremely expensive. And then people say, well, we don't care about it. So if the fundamentals tell them to buy the market, they buy it. And fundamentals tell them to sell the market, they still buy it. So it doesn't help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're just basically left to the peril of their emotions.
Right.
And then that's what basically the cycles are showing us. So,
and the emotions being fed by media because the media are always positive, otherwise people won't watch them.
Yeah, and who's going to invest in the market when people are saying it's going down, other than pros who know how to make money on the downside? So,
correct.
As I always said, there's one 3-letter theme that you know from anybody in any market. It's ABB, always be buying, right? I mean, that's it.
Correct.
So I find it fascinating. And what I really find interesting is exactly what you said. And the VIX. So the VIX, basically, you want to jump out of that trade right after you see your increase there, because those gains on the VIX could be very ephemeral, right?
Yeah, you have to take it very short term because the decay in the VIX, that's too complicated for the average person, and take it very fast. So we were long the VIX for people who didn't want to sell the stocks, and it was still, made 400% profit. So that was covering the stocks, and then we sold half of the VIX, and now we only defending ourselves by being 50% long the VIX against the stocks that it still have.
Hey, so going back to Bitcoin, what are the emotions there? What are you seeing for Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin right now is trading at 11,500. If it doesn't close I can't say. I look at the future close, but let's say below 11,400. It will go to 15,500, and that's for the moment the cyclical top. The cycles are still up for 1 or 2 weeks, but it should not get below 11,400. So if you're very clever, what do? You buy it around here, 11,500. The moment it goes below 11,400, you get out, and your potential is 15,500.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So, all right. So we got to keep our eyes on Bitcoin. Natgas, you said a while ago, is going to break $2 again.
I said it goes to $2, and then we have a bounce. We went as low as 202. That was good enough. We covered the shorts. We're short from 370 to 202, and now we're waiting for a bounce to go short again.
Mm-hmm. So you think it's going to go under $2, huh?
Yeah. Like crude, it's going. It's going to be a problem with the CRB index, with the commodities. Mm. It's a thing that people wake up, but they will wake up too late.
That's often the case here. It's often the case, Charles. Anything else? Interest rates, we kind of mentioned them. You think we're hitting a all-time bottom on interest rates? Or are they can they go any lower?
Yeah, the cycles are still up. So we'll continue to hold long. People who really want to see how great cycles are, we even do it intraday, about twice a day. So we tell them exactly at what time the S&P is bottoming and what level is bottoming and when it's stopping. Now, if you watch this, then you see there's absolutely no free choice. It's nothing to do with what comes out in the news, because how do we know the exact time of a high and a low in the S&P? That's totally impossible based on news. So it's interesting to watch that and then get a different idea of how markets really work.
Yeah, as I'm looking, the Treasury yield on the 10-year fell below 1.7%. That is like an extremely bearish indicator, isn't it?
Well, it depends how you look at it. There will people say, well, it's very good for the economy because if you don't see the problem, if you don't see it's problematic that is to low interest rates because things are going to be very bad, then you say, oh, it's great for the stock market. As I published that when the Fed lowers interest rates because they're going to recession, then usually the stock market goes down 30% instead of going up. So it depends for people to decide why do they lower interest rates.
Interesting. So do you have any take on the economic cycle, where we're at here with it, where we can look forward?
It's almost over. We're going to recession, probably worse, because there's almost nothing that will help us anymore because interest rates are so low already, and we're going to have a deflation, and it's going to be a very, very difficult time.
So, this is the kind of things that make governments fall, right? This is the kind of thing that brought Trump in.
Well, that's why you have already social unrest in the United States and China and wherever, because they already react to the cycles. It doesn't come out of the blue. All these things have certain time periods when they become worse and when they become better. So it's going to be worse. As I said a year ago, especially in the United States, it looks like things are going to be much worse based on the cycles. I mean, within the United States.
So how do we get through this? I mean, is it going to be a total economic collapse here, or just close to it?
Well, I wrote once, Mr. Prechter, maybe remembered him. He said years ago the Dow goes to 1,000. And the New York Times called me and I calculated, I said it goes to 5,000. I still think so. And then I have to add that in the mid-90s, it was 5,000 and the world didn't look that bad. So it's not the end of the world if we have such a big down move in the Dow Jones.
Yeah, it's just the economy is so over leveraged, right? There's so much debt. And, the thing is that for every person who owes money, there's someone or an entity that they owe it to. That entity, to them, that debt is an asset. So when that asset becomes worth less or even worthless, that's a big problem if it happens on a mass scale. And that means a whole revamping of the economy.
Well, that has to happen sometimes. The Fed, after 1929, first after a crash of 1970, the Fed decided, well, we're going to take care of it. We're going to have these big up and downs anymore. So they keep it going until they cannot keep it going anymore. And now we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah. I just wonder what is going to happen, because we're going to need some really forward-thinking people, some people who really get what's going on and who really are motivated from the right place and really want to find a solution. And the question is, where are these people? Are they there? Do you know of any of them?
Well, of course they're there, but normal people don't want to be president of the United States because they get scrutinized, who knows what. And I don't want to say anything bad about Goldman Sachs. I really made a nice career over there. But in Goldman Sachs, you make a career when you're positive, not when you're negative, even if you're right. So all over the world, people want to make a career. So nobody talks about danger. Only everything is positive. They listen to you and they're happy with you and they vote for you.
It's like they see that iceberg coming and they think that by the time we get there, that iceberg will just melt. And maybe it's worked in the past. Yeah,
but they also think what their own input is. They don't want to be the bad guy. They will also think, what is my career going to do? I'm going with the flow. Like the Kudlow in the advisor of Trump. I mean, I used to talk to the guy and I went away. I can't even talk to the guy. He doesn't understand anything. And he is now, the advisor of Trump. What can you do?
Do you think Trump believes anything he says?
I don't know.
Because I just stopped listening to the guy, decades ago.
Me too. So isn't it amazing how he comes up? Because he says the right thing for people to take him on. So he made a career in the end.
Yeah. So everybody feels good. They listen to Kudlow and it's like, hey, no, everything's going to be fine. It'll just work itself out, the animal spirits. So, so one thing you suggested a while ago, and it's always stuck in my head, is small residential real estate holdings, like houses in Florida, single family homes. You think that still gets through pretty unscathed?
Yeah. In Phoenix, there's a lot. I'm personally involved with that. Not unscathed, but you get your rent, and just wait till it comes back up, and then sell the real estate. But you have something that is going to continue to exist.
Yeah, so you don't worry about the value from day to day. It'll take a hit, just like it did in 08 and 09. But in many places, rents stayed pretty stable. Maybe they retraced a little bit, but pretty much rents were stable. And then because there were so many people who lost their homes, rents actually started increasing in 09 through 10 and 11. And now we've seen 9 years of steady rental increases, 2-3% a year. It's better than you're going to do at 1.7% T-bills.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is people don't mind to buy bonds that get 1.8%. And in the end, they get the capital back, but it's not worth anything anymore. And now, as long as I get my 1.8%, why not take 7% by buying a small apartment?
Yeah, it makes total sense, what you're saying. And 7-8% return in this day and age is phenomenal. And that's not even including other benefits you get. Hedge against inflation to some extent, pay down of a mortgage by the tenant instead of you. A lot of benefits there for sure. Well, anyway, Charles, just tell us how we get your work, how we get that free subscription.
Yeah, go to charlesnenner.com, I think, or Charles Nenner Research Center, both of them, and just ask for a free trial. You get it for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, I don't know exactly, and follow what we say and get an idea how really big guys are investing in the market, not based on news, but on scientific approach.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Hey, questions, comments for Charles or myself? The email is kl@kerrylutz.com, Twitter feed @KerryLutz, Facebook page, Financial Survival Network. Charles, we will definitely be checking in with you regularly to see what's happening. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.